mics.
Testing the Michaels.
There we go. That's pretty good.
Mike, say hi.
Hi, Mike. Sorry. Hey, hello, everybody. How's it going? It's me, Mike Minotti. I have never left. I've been here this entire time.
It's amazing. He's never missed an episode. 7,000 episodes and counting.
That's true. Yeah, it's a lot. Feels like it sometimes.
Okay. Let me get the music.
People saying dick all the time. Which makes me think about My Hero Academia.
I need to uninstall Damon Tools Lite. I don't need that.
Well, not right now.
Not right now. No, I installed a whole new computer in my computer, so I don't need Damon Tools Lite. Okay.
That's something that can be mounted using Windows built-in tools now?
That turned off for me, and I tried to get it turned back on, and I don't know. It just broke for me. I could not mount stuff. It was very frustrating. All right, that's good.
Yeah, relatable.
Oh no, I don't even know what I said.
You say you're frustrated because you can't mount stuff.
I'm getting old, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Incredible. The sciatica doesn't work.
Start cheering now!
I hear you, Wario.
All right, that looks good.
Let's get this over with.
Do you
That
tweet?
looks good.
No, that's what I'll do right now. Everything else is finished.
I think
So
we're ready.
tweet. Okay.
Test. Just, yeah, that works.
That was that. Oh, it's a Fortnite ad auto playing in a browser.
Fortnite. You get ads? That's crazy.
Sure do.
This guy getting ads.
Machine getting ads. 2024.
Mike Minotti. Mike Minotti.
This man's running Shakespeare over there.
Yep.
I think my tweet was, I'm back. I don't know what Jeff's writing. I'm very curious. Well, no, Jeff doesn't get to write anymore for
Exactly.
her works.
I gotta
This is-
exercise it.
This is where all the creative juices.
Oh no, I'm 3 characters too long. Where are they going to come from? Okay, there we go.
Very excited to see this tweet.
All right, there we go. All right. That's good. You're good. We look. Oh nope, you look a little short. Got to get you back up to your 5'11". All right.
Yeah, this is a good tweet. It's about me, so I like it.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Give you a little bit of a boost there. Give you some uppies.
Uppies, Rocky.
All right. Okay. I think we're good. You ready to start, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm just going to count us in. You good, Christian?
I'm good.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog, with Mike Minotti.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs, and with Mike Minotti. And today, the Deku Tree is a Lego now. More but different Resident Evil rumors, and Nintendo's opening a new store. First, Jeff. How's it going? I haven't been able to talk to you for a while. Everything all good? The shop's still running here?
Missed you. Glad you're back. But I hope it was a good trip. I guess I'll ask you about it a little bit. But you asked about me first, so I guess I'll talk first. Allergies are really getting to me, I think. I don't think it's a cold. I think it has to be allergies. But it's like, because it's all up in here in the head area. And it's like I can feel it like making my throat like kind of constrained enough to it's hard to make words come out, things like that. But other than that, pretty good. In a pretty good mood. How about you?
I've been sneezing since I've been home too for some reason. So there's definitely something going on.
Yeah, the kids are like coughing and
something.
sneezing a lot, and I don't think they're sick either. So I think there's just something going on right now in Ohio.
It was a long trip, Jeff. It was too long. I mean, I got a lot done. Some things people won't be able to hear about for maybe a week, but so it was productive. We had the Games Beat event. I went to a wedding in Chicago. That was fun. The wedding in Chicago. I got to go to Wrigley Field again to see the Cubs play there again. So that was nice.
You said Perkins wasn't fun?
Perkins was fun. We had a great panel.
Good.
We did.
Glad to hear that.
But it was long, and for some reason, on the second day of the panel, the conference, my Crohn's was acting up for the first time in a while, and that was kind of like on and off for the rest of the trip, and and it's like, oh great, I don't feel great, and I'm in LA, but it was mostly fun. I got to hang out with some people, including Tam and Lucy for a little bit. A bird almost shit on Lucy. That was amazing.
What the fuck? Told that bird to go to hell.
We were about to cross a road. And Lucy's standing next to me, and I just hear this splat, and I see something drop. It makes it sound almost like a coin hitting the ground. Really. Really? I look up. It is it's a game of inches. We're all frozen. It was so close. We look up, and we just see this fucking pigeon sitting on the road sign right there. You can see the trajectory. We're just staring at its asshole. It's like, wow, that was a close one.
Well, okay, so she fully dodged it, and no particles
nothing.
or anything? Okay.
No, but boy, it was close.
Yeah, well, sounds like it.
Inches. Not even a foot. Inches we're talking about.
Bird's cloaca was armed and ready. I'm okay, well, I'm glad to hear that she came by unscathed. I'm glad you were there to witness it and to relay that story to us.
Speaking of witness, I saw the Furiosa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know you're a big fan of Fury Road.
I love Fury Road.
What I've heard is this movie is different. So what did you think?
It is different and not as good. I mean, it's fine. I thought it was fine. There's not much I could say with them being this early without spoiling things. But, I think some of the things I criticize about, The Last of Us Part 2, right? A bit of that miserable people, miserable problems, and about revenge stories only inherently being so interesting to me, really. Some of that stuff applies here. There are other more minute things. But, still a very good-looking movie. Still some great action sequences and some plenty of good acting. But of course, it's not just once-in-a-generation thing like Fury Road was. I mean, of course not.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. But yeah, what's that, Christian?
It is bombing the same way the other one did, so it's not that different.
Yeah.
This one's bombing much worse than Fury Road.
It is much worse. It was kind of the same last time I checked.
I think it's worse. No, it's half as much as Fury Road. If Fury Road had an amazing second week and third week and stuff like that because of word of mouth, I think most people seem to like this more than me. Who knows?
I think there's there are people who Skill Up had the same opinion as you. I think where he really liked the purity of the first one. And felt that the stuff in this one got in the way. And I bet some people are going to feel that way.
I mean, it's some of that stuff that you always have with a prequel. But some of it is oh, man, Fury Road's this movie that takes place over about 24 hours. It's very tight, right? And here's a movie that takes place over a specific character's lifetime almost, right? Or at least a lot of it. So it's jumping around. It has literal chapters. It has chapter titles.
A prequel by definition is going to have more fat. It just is. And so, not surprised. I watched Holy Rollers, which is the movie from the guys that did Annette. And I was I did not know what to expect.
Oh no!
I just put on my VR headset. I'm I want to watch a movie because I was envious of all those people going to the movies to see Fury Road or to see Furiosa. And I'm I'll go in a virtual movie theater and watch something. And I connected my Prime account and looked for a movie, and I saw that. And that movie's pretty good, but it's you could get the sensibility. It's nothing like Annette, but you get the sensibility of how these filmmakers really very simple stories where you could just tell something very clearly and then play around with that. They had a lot of that going on.
Sure.
It made me want to watch Annette again, really though. Which is I don't know what I'm doing to myself.
We can't do watch parties anymore. Now we have to watch Annette alone like psychopaths.
Yeah. Does the Prime Video chat room thing still work?
I don't know.
I wonder if they could still do that, but probably not.
I don't think so. I think they took that over.
It was too beautiful for this world.
Jeff, we've got some Nintendo things to talk about. Let's see what's been going on.
Real quick.
Yeah, okay.
You guys want to keep asking me about this PlayStation thing? I think it's still happening this week, probably on Thursday. So there you go. You want to go take that?
People are asking me on your behalf, so
I'm sure
I appreciate it.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I had heard the 28th from a bunch of people, but that was always secondhand. I never heard the 28th myself, and it always seemed weird, the day after we get back from Memorial Day. Like that would have been strange. But hey, I think if chances are we hear about it tomorrow and that it happens on Thursday, but there's no reason to think it's not happening for me still. So many people I talk to are still like people that are at Sony, around Sony, all still think it's happening this week, and they're surprised it didn't get announced today. So we'll see.
And sounds like an Astrobot game's pretty likely.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been thinking for a while now. Now everyone else is saying it too, so I'm happy to hear that.
Okay, well, I believe. So yeah, let's just hold on a little bit more there, and then some of this other stuff going on. Well, let's do this first. Actually, even though it's like not the most Nintendo-y thing, but speaking of rumors, did you see so while I was gone, the Resident Evil rumor became that the Resident Evil 1 was getting remade.
That's right.
That's the next remake.
Yes, that was
and
the last
obviously there are 9, but that one's remake. Now there's this new rumor.
I don't think I've heard this one yet. Tell me about this one. I don't think so. I've been busy all day.
The new person, and I'm not sure if this person's more or less reliable, is no, they're not remaking Resident Evil 1. They are remaking Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica. That is what's happening. So that's the thing that everybody all around is kind of globbing onto now. And
that came from Dusk Golem, Jeff. That's why people are paying attention.
Okay, where'd the first one come from?
No idea.
Okay, because for my head, I'm like, the last one came from Dusk Golem. That's why people are paying attention. Dusk Golem is the reliable leaker. Apparently, Andy Robinson from VGC also backed up this new rumor. So I would believe this one.
I was always like, hey, if they want to remake Resident Evil 1, that's fine. It'd be great. I find this even more exciting.
This is way more exciting, yeah.
Right. Resident Evil 0, I know people think, oh, something's missing there. Always a cool idea to do a kind of train-focused one. I like Rebecca Chambers a lot. Remake that game and kind of fix what was off there. Yeah. And then Code Veronica, similar things, although generally better, especially at the time. I think people look back on it here's the issues. But now, we can go in, we can really polish that one up.
Right, that's exciting.
That's exciting to me. For people would, for as much as people would bring up Code Veronica, nobody would bring up 0. And
I did that poll around the time when these rumors were first starting somewhere a couple weeks ago, if not last week. And I asked, I'm like, okay, well, which one do you want remade next? Resident Evil 1, 5, or Code Veronica? 0 never even occurred to me to ask about. Most people, I think, in that poll responded with Code Veronica, by the way. They're like, I want that one next, actually. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. There's a lot of fans out there. They're like, this is the one that needs it the most, obviously. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The kind of other part of that rumor was that 9 is further away than people think. So if a Resident Evil game is going to get announced at Summer Game Fest, I guess maybe now I should be expecting to hear about a Resident Evil 0 or a Code Veronica remake before Resident Evil 9, even at this point. At least one of those. And maybe one of them comes out after 9. But because a Resident Evil 0 remake, that doesn't have to be a Resident Evil 4 remake size project. That's more of a Resident Evil 3 remake size project.
And that would be fine. I think that'd be completely acceptable if it was Resident Evil 3 remake style in even at that quality level. I think that's fine for 0. So I would be excited about that. I'm like, I can't tell what's in my head now because of rumors, what's in my head now because of appointments and stuff like that. So it's did Capcom ever say anything about are they going to announce something? I have no memory now. So at this point, it's anything could happen with Resident Evil at Summer Game Fest, or nothing could happen. We'll see. I expect them probably to mention Resident Evil sometime this summer, though. So I don't think we're gonna have to wait too long to get some glimmer of what they're working on.
All right, so going back more into Nintendo, LEGO announced the Great Deku Tree LEGO set today. It's going to come out around September. They call it a 2-in-1 thing, right? And I don't understand why it's 2-in-1. Oh, because it can look like the N64 Deku Tree, or it looks like the Breath of the Wild style Deku Tree. I see.
Okay,
so that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
and on the back it has the Skulltella and stuff like that, right? So a lot of accoutrement. You have minifigs again of Link from Ocarina of Time, and you have the Link from Breath of the Wild also, and even the Zelda, it looks like. So there's some good minifigs. There's even a little watchtower thing you can kind of build. It looks like, or I think that's supposed to be Link's house or something. So it's a really nice looking set. it's also going to cost $300.
Okay, so I did the math on that. That's 12 cents per Lego. And the last time I did that, I think I remember it being like 7 or 8 cents per Lego several years ago. Is that in line with what Lego sets cost now?
No, so that's the thing. And it's like, is this too expensive? That is in line for especially these kind of adult-made Lego sets. Yes, that is kind of how much that they cost. If you go and buy like, you know, the giant King Bowser thing.
I'm gonna look up the Lego Titanic. All right, this is $680, and it has 9,090 pieces. So, calculator. Let's see.
The one that
here.
I always wanted was the Kevin McAllister house, and I think it was always about $300 also.
It's okay. So that's like 7.5 cents per Lego. So there does seem to be a little bit of a premium happening on this one.
The
Deku
Kevin
Tree.
McAllister house from Home Alone is also a $300 one, and that is about 4,000 pieces.
Okay, so that's way more pieces, because isn't this one like 2,500 pieces? The Deku Tree.
Let me look that up. The Deku Tree is 2,500. So yes, there are more pieces inside the Kevin McAllister house.
My understanding is the way like Lego fans do this, and I'm like casual in that space, but my understanding is they usually like look at the price per Lego, and so this
BBL.
Yeah, that what he said, BBL. This, like when you do the math here, that does seem pretty extreme compared to most other sets. Now, the Nintendo license probably isn't cheap. I think this whole idea of you can have two different versions of it. Well, what that means is people are going to probably buy like two of them so they can have each. They build both. Like it sounds like working with Nintendo maybe is a little tough here for Lego, and they're trying to get as much money out of this thing as possible.
And I see. So the minifigs, you get Ocarina Time adult and kid Link, and then Breath of the Wild, Zelda, and Link. Okay. So it's a very nice set, and like, look, even like comparing another Lego things, these Lego things are they are expensive. I don't know. Like, hey, I don't blame people. Like, some things you gotta just pay it. The things you can get for $300.
Oh yeah, I don't blame anyone complaining about the price here. But people are like, "This is $300. That's absurd." Yeah, you're right.
You can get a Switch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my God, like it is, and it's Legos.
You can probably get someone making a Deku Tree model off of Etsy that looks really amazing for like $80 or something like that. Yeah. There's ways to decorate your home if you don't want to deal with this stuff, but Lego's got its fans, and they're like, Nintendo working with Lego is a pretty rare and exciting thing, at least for these kinds of sets. So I think people will probably show up for this.
But again, it looks really good. And I mean, if you told me, hey, they got to make a Lego set of something from Zelda, I think Deku Tree is the first thing my mind goes to. So I'm kind of glad they just went with the obvious one. Even over like something like Hyrule Castle. I don't really know what Hyrule Castle looks like.
Right.
It's just like, it's a castle. It's not like Peach's castle where, you know, you put that stained glass thing of Peach there.
Right. It looks like the level from Super Smash Brothers Melee, right? Yes,
exactly. So this makes a lot of sense. And hey, like the whole kind of that it could be both of them thing is pretty neat. I think I would always display it as the N64 one. It's just a little bit more iconic to me, but I like that you can mess around with it. I mean, I said all that about it being expensive, but it's a good looking set.
I think it looks, yes, it's really cool looking. I'm into it.
Yeah. So, and hey, hopefully it's not the last of them. I hope we get more. You know, like these prices, they're definitely set to like really trigger the people who really want them, right? Like if you did Samus's ship from like Super Metroid and you told me I can only have that for $300, like I'd probably pay it because I would just want it that badly.
Yep.
But this is priced to the point where it's like, well, I would really like this. I don't know if I want it $300 badly.
Yeah, I think $200 is the range where it would be a no-brainer for me. $300 is a bit much.
All right, Jeff, next thing here. According to the German rating organization, Paper Mario: 1,000 Year Door was classified in June of last year. So about a year before it released. Jeff, we talked about this before. You have always heard that Nintendo holds on to games for a long time. And here is an example. If a game was classified, it was probably done, if not close to done. So they've been sitting on this 1,000 Year Door remake for a while, potentially.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's not even like the most extreme case. I think Metroid Dread or Metroid Prime Remaster, one of those, I think it was Metroid Prime Remaster, had been done for like a year and a half before, and was like classified in Germany in the same way, like a year and a half before it came out.
Fire Emblem Engage was done for a while, we knew, right?
Yes, and this new Fire Emblem remake sounds like it's been done for a very long time. We saw how willing they were to like put Advance Wars back on the shelf once there was a problem, and they're like, okay, never mind, we're not going to release it when we said, well, maybe one day we'll release it again, and then it went away for a year before it came back, and they released it. So they seem very willing to keep doing this, which we always say, like, okay, well, then what else do they have on their shelf? And I think we're probably going to find out. This Direct in June is like shelf clearing time, right?
It is, yeah.
Right.
Everything must go.
Everything must go.
And I think, like, yeah, Fire Emblem Remake has to be on the shelf. It must be coming down. I mean, you were put things on the shelf because you wanted to fill out the schedule when it became light.
Yeah.
It has become light. Like, this is why they held. It's a good thing they held on to 1,000 Year Door Remake.
Right.
This is a perfect time to release it.
They moved the Switch 2's release date, like apparently, allegedly, into next year sometime, maybe a little bit later in the next year than what we're all anticipating. So now it's a rainy day. You saved all these games for a rainy day. Let's put them out. So yeah, that's my expectation. I mean, that's not to say every single thing that they have saved, it will come out.
Right.
Some things could get like moved to the Switch 2. Right. Of course they could do that. But I think for the most part, the kinds of games that they're keeping there and saving are the kinds of games that make sense at the end of a console's life cycle than in the first year of a life cycle. But we'll see.
Now, let's be clear, like, you know, things we are like talking about here is, you know, again, not promising anything, but it's like, yeah, that Fire Emblem Remake, Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I don't think we get all of those.
Yeah, like right.
You know.
Yeah, there's a chance we get a lot of them. There's a chance we get a couple of them because it's Nintendo. Did I don't? You've been gone since you've been gone. I've flipped back to Metroid Prime 4 is on Switch for sure, 100%. I don't know anything.
Really?
I don't know anything. But I'm just like, no, I gotta stand my ground. I gotta believe. Yeah.
Well, you have fun. How are you gonna feel if it doesn't get announced at the Direct then?
Devastated, especially because you'll likely be there to dance on my grave. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, but that's the thing. I gotta own that because I want it. Like, if it does happen in the small percentage of possible universes where it does happen, I need to be able to dance on your grave proudly, and I can only do that if I truly believe now.
I won't give you the satisfaction. I'll just be happy about Metroid Prime 4.
No, it's not allowed.
Okay. Last thing here, Jeff. Nintendo has announced plans for a second official store in the U.S. in San Francisco. This will open in 2025. Hey, something to do in San Francisco that we won't hate. Besides the Cheesecake Factory.
Well, we'll make a night of it. Cheesecake Factory, Nintendo store. All right, let's go.
Hey, let's go.
I can't remember the last time I was in SF. Actually, it's been a long time.
It's been a while for me too. Actually,
I might go to the next GDC. I'm thinking about it a little bit. You don't have to. You could stay home.
You haven't been to a GDC for part of the reason why I hate GDC because you stopped going to them. So I couldn't even hang out with you.
Because I had a kid and I'm like, all right, excuse. All right, I can miss it.
It was, yeah. We had fun going to the Cheesecake Factory. There's a Nintendo store near there too. But hey, this is nice. I love the Nintendo store in New York. I always think it's, not that it's some huge thing. It is just mostly merch. It's fun though, for some reason. It is a lot of exclusive stuff.
Because it feels special. And this doesn't make it feel any less special. It's like, now there's two in the entire United States on opposite coasts in two of the biggest cities in the country. It still feels very special and cool. And when I walk in, there's always like, hey, there's a reason to spend a significant amount of money because when's the next time I'm actually going to be in one of these stores? I really enjoy that.
Well, now we know people who live in San Francisco, so now we can go and make them do some shopping for us.
What we mentioned the Jan on the Bombcast today. It's like when something special happens, we're going to be calling you and asking us to pick it up for us and send it to me, please.
We just have to really get on Nintendo's case about opening up that Cleveland location, which must be next, right?
Oh, yeah. Any minute now. It's going to go right in next to the Margaritaville, I believe.
Oh, my God.
Every day we'll be there.
I know. I won't need to go anywhere else. Could you? When I was in Chicago, me and one other person did make everybody walk to the Margaritaville.
Yeah.
got ourselves some margs. It was a good time.
Yeah,
it was
fun.
a
real good time.
And like the group I was with the wedding, I found somebody else who was fascinated by chain restaurants. It was great because then later I texted him when I was at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, and then like the next day he was at the one in Washington D.C. It's like, hell yeah.
This is important. This reminds me of a question I was meaning to ask you, but you were gone, and I could not, and I was cursing you. We are planning our Disney trip, and my kid always asks, "Hey, can I go back to that restaurant where the lights would change and there was animals everywhere?" She's talking about Rainforest Cafe at Niagara. Now I know there's one in Orlando. Is it absurd, like if we're going to be there a week, to one night eat dinner at Rainforest Cafe?
No, the kids will like it. And the nice thing is, there's 2 in Disney World, Jeff.
It's like in Disney World? It's like in it?
There's 2 of them in the Disney World complex. The one is in
then that's a no-brainer then. I thought we'd have to like leave. And I was like, not. Okay.
And I love this kid. There's one so in the shopping area, Disney Springs, but there's one in Animal Kingdom, like right in the entrance.
Oh, okay.
So you could eat dinner there the day you go to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, we'll go to Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is the one with Pandora, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a good day to me. Okay, great. Then I'll bake it into the plans. That's fantastic.
There you go. Yeah, fantastic. All right. So that's it for the news, Jeff. Why don't we take a little break? We'll cut back. I think we got a good amount of super chats. Thank you, everybody. So we'll read some super chats, and then who wouldn't? And then a little bit after that, we have a topic. Ask people what third-party ports do they want on the Switch 2. Thinking about Resident Evil and other things got me wondering that. So, let's take that break. We'll get right back to it.
Break.
All right. Hit the add button.
Press it.
Just give me a second here. Okay.
Put another ad here, and then another ad there.
Yeah, make that money.
Make the money. All right, I'm ready. Ready you are.
Yeah, let me just make sure that this is muted.
You wanna, Chef? You wanna set up the screen with the? Oh, we don't need. Oh, do we need to put the thread on the screen?
We're doing super chats first. There's quite a few of them. So.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do another break. All right.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, let's go.
Jeff, we are back. What do you want to say to me? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I kind of want to like just run roughshod all over all these nerds to keep asking me about the PlayStation event. So
you brought that upon yourself.
I know. I listen. I know, but that doesn't stop me from being unreasonable and want to like do like the bushwhackers. I just want to fight them. Yeah, that's it.
Bushwhackers. You go to the bushwhackers.
Yeah, something about like just doing the arm thing and just running into them, and yeah, that would feel good. It make me feel real good
too.
I guess you could also read super chats if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I would really like, actually. Want to do that instead of the whole fighting people
thing.
You
have your proclivities, whatever.
Proclivities, that's a college word.
Yeah, ACT, I passed it. You can't pass that. You can just get a score. From Jacob Bench, let's talk about why House MD is a fantastic show. You know what? I watched that show, and I never really thought about it much, and then it started popping up on, like, my YouTube shorts, and I'm like getting the urge. I'm like, I should watch that again. House MD is a pretty good show. Yeah.
House Gang over here. Let's go. I love that shit. Let's watch it. Let's do a podcast about it. Let's do everything.
Okay.
Medical dramas give me anxiety.
Yeah, and this one is like tries to like get away from that a little bit by being like, oh, it's a Sherlock Holmes show, but for doctors. But it still has plenty of those issues for sure. Hey, Jacob Bench, you're right though. I like that show a lot. From Simon McKinley at Esty. What do you think about IGN's media purchase? As someone writing for Start Menu with hopes of getting part-time gigs, it makes it feel more daunting. Yeah, it's rough out there. There's not a lot of jobs now. There's definitely fewer. And it's not like IGN seems like it's in the business of preserving that or caring about that. They just seem to, and of course this is Ziff Davis, this is corporate ownership controlling IGN. None of the writers are responsible for this, but they're like, hey, no, we need more views and like got to have more inventory to sell ads. And that's all this is about. So in this moment, I don't blame you for finding it daunting.
Yeah, it seemed weird. It seemed off-putting. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Nothing
it
else.
Sucked. I mean, it sucks. Making that purchase and then instantly laying off basically everyone. It seems like just a gutting of the industry. It was terrible. From Big Fresh 37, welcome back, Mike. Did you hear about how Jeff has been fleecing me out of hundreds by pretending he never played Captain Toad? Cheers.
Oh my God, that's right. I saw that. Oh my God, you stupid son of a bitch. That was the greatest thing. You reviewed Captain Toad. We did a bit for about how we might finally play Captain Toad. You played all of it.
I might finally play the Switch version. Who knows?
You played the whole thing.
I booted up. I booted up my Wii U, and it's on there beaten. I'm like, don't remember any of this.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, look, nothing against Captain Toad, but it does seem like the kind of game you would mostly forget about. It's like those Yoshi games. I'm sure it's better than those, but like I beat that Wii U and like Switch Yoshi game. I don't remember a damn thing about that. I do remember I beat him at least. I remember that part.
I think what happens here is I think I'm like, oh, I must have just played a lot of those levels in Super Mario 3D World or whatever it was, and it turned out I was thinking that game had way more Captain Toad levels than it actually did, because I just played Captain Toad on my Wii U. Listen, that was many, many years ago. Who could say? Jesus.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I would recommend people who only listen to the other version to go and watch the YouTube video. In that moment, you can see Chef dying inside.
Yeah, it's
you see devastated. You're not happy to find out that you forgot this.
Well, somebody's like, "Dad, you don't remember you reviewed that?" And then it happened to me. It was terrible.
Speaking of Dan, I got up. He's like, how did you talking about donuts came up, and he's like, how would you even start to make donuts? And somebody, well, first you buy flour. He's like, well, and then what? What do you add to the flour? And like everyone did, like ignored him because they were over it. But I was screaming, Dan, do you know what dough is? What do you mean? What do you add to the flour? Water, Dan. Water.
Yeah.
You don't need oil. You don't need eggs. You don't need butter, but you need water.
Yeah, it was like, because at a certain point, like, we know he's not going to remember it. So, and we've almost certainly told him all this before. I mean, I know we talked about donuts when we talked about churros, and he didn't retain any of it. So we don't even talk to him anymore. That's just what it is.
We don't even talk to him anymore. You're all doing great.
Big Fresh 37 returns and says, it's the time in a console's lifespan for casual games. A Switch Lite bundled with a brand new Nintendogs could hit Nintendo's hardware forecast easy. I agree that it is time before Nintendogs to come back, other than we would probably have to lawyer up and go hide in a cave. But, yeah. Right.
We're the last ones,
right?
So they would need us, or they would need to eliminate us.
Yes, take us out. I would totally play Nintendogs again right now. That'd be fun. Uh-oh. You're making a face. You're making a face like you're about to say something like that you're very proud of.
No, I know. I was about to say something that I was like, no, I shouldn't. But I was like, it'd be funny if I didn't. I was gonna say it'd be funny if I had an OBS like just PNG of like the red dot. I would like put on my forehead like Nintendo's got me in it. I was like, nah, I probably shouldn't.
That's fine. I got it. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
Okay, great. I start talking about Nintendo jail or something. It's like, oh no.
Right. Just Doug Bowser's shadow and then a laser beam on your forehead.
You just want them to make more matchstick puzzle games.
I had my time with the matchstick puzzle games on the DS. Yes. That was like, I played the hell out of Professor Layton, and I'm like, I really like these matchstick puzzles, but whatever. I never thought about it. And then I saw one of those games. I'm like, well, I'll get that. People don't know. It's just you move matchsticks around to make different things. It's
funny you remember playing the matchstick game separately from Professor Layton, but not the Captain Toad game separately from Super Mario 3D World.
Look, the matchstick game is very impressive. You guys got to remember that. Absolutely. Allie Miracle with the
Treasure Tracker is broken up into episodes. Each one gets more and more challenging. Oh, this is an interesting review. What's your conclusion here? Oh man, you compared it to Donkey Kong 94. That's one of your favorite games ever, Jeff.
Look, we say a lot of shit in reviews, all right?
I'm not sure any other big AAA publisher would try making a game like this, but I'm very glad that Nintendo did. 85 out of 1. You're so glad that you're going to remember forever.
You think I would remember every 85 I gave? I would like anything above 85 feels like you should remember it, so. Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I can't help but tease you on it. It's
no,
funny.
I get it. Like, that's how I felt when it happened. I can't believe that really is real, though. Allie Miracle says, with the 1,000-Year Door taking up my time again, it makes me want my other GameCube childhood loves, Air Ride and GX. Any others you all would love to get the same pizzazz?
Geist. No, GX is a big one. I mean, they should absolutely do it with Chibi Robo, just so that more people can play that game, right?
Yeah, Chibi Robo.
Same thing with Cubivore.
Yeah,
honestly, they should do it with Cubivore too. Even our custom Robo, some that kind of more mid-tiersies one. I mean, Capcom should absolutely do a newer Beautiful Joe collection of at least one.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Yeah. My mind immediately goes to actually not the GameCube, but the Wii. Punch Out on the Wii is what I want. And that's just 2 GameCubes duct taped together anyhow, so that's the same thing.
Want Wario Land Shake It.
Wario Land Shake It would be great.
It's like the one time that they did like hand-drawn like 2D stuff, right?
I mean, hey, give Wario World this pizzazz. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah, Wario World. Such an underrated game. And look, add 2 more worlds to it.
Sure.
So people stop complaining about being so short. They still will.
Right, get the band back together, get Treasure back and going, and have them make it. Mikey O'Leary writes in, "Hey boys, so the Deku Tree set is a 2-in-1, 2,500 piece set for adults, so $300 is pretty average. Black box sets are generally for the major Lego enthusiast who like longer / tougher builds. The 2-in-1 thing has got to be, like when I thought about it, it's like that's got to be what they're actually saying here, is because it's 2-in-1 that required like more engineering and more thought, and so it's like going to be more expensive per brick."
Yeah, like compared to other Lego things, maybe it's not that expensive. I just think when we really zoom out and look at it, it's pretty expensive for basically a lot of plastic.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of plastic. There's no like mechanical parts. There's no electronic parts. There's no moving parts. It's just a bunch of plastic.
Yep.
I'm not saying I love Lego. It's great. There's a lot goes into it, and they deserve to be compensated fairly. It's very expensive.
And instead of buying this, though, Mike, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build that set you got me for my birthday and just sit down and actually do that. That's the big N64, Super Mario 64 question block thing.
Yeah, Bomb Battlefield and all that goodness.
Exactly. I'm just going to do that instead. From question mark 1910. Today, my work had a round of layoffs. I'm sorry to hear that, question mark. So it was a pretty shitty day. Just wanted to say thanks for all the work you put into these awesome shows. I appreciate that, but I don't know. Thank you everybody who listens, especially when you're dealing with stuff like that in your life. That's means a ton to us that you actually listen to that. So sorry to hear about that. Hope everything bounces back. It seems like it's happening everywhere right now.
Yeah,
everyone's cutting back in every field. It's terrible.
Sure is. I was proud of myself. I used your survive till 25 line, Jeff, to our MC, just kind of a conversation before she went on stage, and then she used it in her intro speech. I was like, yeah.
I think I stole that from Matt Piscatella. So there we go.
Let's go. We're spreading the nectar around, making honey.
There it is. I'll use that line next, Mike. Don't worry.
Yeah, make sure you talk about Mike Minotti's honey.
Yes, Mike Minotti says, go spread your nectar. He talks about it constantly. From El Grug, Mike is back and there's a gas explosion in Youngstown, Ohio. Coincidence? Or is Mike still angry about Jeff's grilling takes?
Yeah, my friend lived in an apartment up there. She was gone at least. So her apartment blew up.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, very scary.
I actually had not heard about this explosion at all. So, okay. So
yeah, bank in downtown Youngstown in the apartments above it exploded. And I happen to know somebody in one apartment. So, yeah, they're fine. But their place exploded. So, that's pretty scary. Yeah, weird stuff. I think if it's the bank I'm thinking of, I think I used to go there back when I was working as a teenager there as like I used to like file files. That sound redundant for a law firm there or something, but yeah, there was an explosion and you can see that it's on video. Real weird, real creepy.
I'm gonna check that out. And then I don't know if you ever got a chance to yell at me about my grilling takes. Did that happen? I can't remember.
Oh no, but yeah, they were very bad.
Right.
I mean, look, everything about propane is fair. Yeah, of course, there aren't that many propane explosions. It shouldn't be that much of a concern. But just don't use propane. Whatever. Who cares? If you're using propane, you are getting no real flavor benefits as opposed to just using a fire burner inside.
My takes are going to make you even more angry. There's very little difference between propane and charcoal, actually. Everybody. And now,
no, charcoal adds a lot of flavor.
It doesn't. It's going to be about the same. It's going to be. I mean, listen. I believe the science is on my side with this one, but listen, I get it. It's more of a cultural thing. There's
culture.
Yeah,
charcoal flavor. You don't get charcoal flavor when you cook things. You don't taste that.
I think that it's
smokier.
It's overstated. Like if you're using a smoker, okay, yes. When it comes to the smoker,
well, sure, smoker, absolutely. But that's like That's a whole different discipline. We're not talking about smoking things. We're talking about, grilling. That's grilling adjacent. But
it is my belief that if you did a double-blind taste test, Mike, you would not be able to tell the difference. I firmly believe
we could set these things up.
Okay, we should. That'd be fun. I would love that.
Properly.
And I would love to be proven wrong. Like, it's not like I wouldn't change my mind, but it would be very fun to actually set that up and do that.
But even aside from all that, it is the pleasure of grilling. Like, if you don't get anything out of it, then sure, whatever. I don't care.
And I actually do get a little bit of pleasure out of, like, once I actually get started and all that stuff. Yes, I get that part of it.
Okay. But yes, I was very upset. I was also mad when AJ thought that Crash Bandicoot was a launch title for the PlayStation 1. I've already yelled at him about that multiple times. I yelled at you for not correcting him.
Right.
But what can we do?
Yeah. I was like, maybe that's what I did. I did that sound.
You should say, no, you stupid asshole. That's what I do.
It works so well, but somehow I think it would sound different if I said it. I think we were here at Oyazumi Mex, who says, Mike, since you've last been on, how many Mountain Dews have you had for the Final Fantasy XIV event? As always, love the show.
Sadly, 0. As much as I love soda, never liked Mountain Dew very much. Baja Blast is good, though. If I could get like Baja Blast 0 and accomplish it that way, I will. I do want that mount, so yeah, I kind of forgot it. I might have to go and get some Mountain Dew Baja Blast 0 so I can get some codes and get my Mountain Zoo mount or whatever for Final Fantasy 14.
All right, let's see here from T-Bucket 23. Even though the 1,000-Year Door is the hot Switch game now, I'm currently playing Paper Mario on N64 NSO before I dive into the sequel, and that N64 game holds up. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, yeah, that's a good game also. The 1,000-Year Door was just a bit better for me for, I don't know, a few reasons. It is just incredible how many of the good Mario RPGs we can play on the Switch now, because we got 1,000-Year Door, we got Paper Mario RPG,
Superstar Saga,
Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, yeah. So, like, at this point, the only essential one we don't have is Bowser's Inside Story, and hopefully they add, look, God, that was a DS game, so, yeah, I don't know how they'll have to make a new version of it.
They'll get around to that eventually, yeah.
Or port over that 3DS remake, which I don't know. But yeah, you'd have a lot of good Mario RPGs on the Switch now. It's great.
From Mr. Bowler. Since I know you both saw the Garfield movie over the weekend, who's the better Garfield, Bill Murray or Chris Pratt?
I think Chris Pratt's actually...
Chris on, obviously.
Yeah, Chris on, our friend.
Yeah.
I almost saw Garfield because I had like time to kill. And like I said, like my stomach was feeling kind of sour because of like Crohn's. And I was like, I don't want to sit through some like 2.5 hour intense movie. And I was like, what else? Like, maybe I'll see Garfield. I didn't go through with it. There was a Garfield robot going down Hollywood Boulevard. I think it was like an automatic like Uber Eats delivery thing or something.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I took a video of it. It didn't look like Garfield, but it was like dressed in his furs, and then it said the Garfield movie.
So like a robot killed and skinned Garfield and is wearing it as a trophy.
It was kind of weird. I saw a couple things. I'm just like, oh, I guess that thing from science fiction is just real now. I guess the robots just roam the streets delivering things. And then I was like, one of the Ubers I was in, the guy had like a Batmobile sonar that would just show on his screen all like the vehicles around him in a pretty wide radius, including behind him. I'm like, oh, we can just do that easily now? Like, I know we could do that, but I assumed like the military could. It's like, that just
comes in cars now. Yeah,
okay.
When I had my car being worked on, they like let me borrow like a newer Lexus and or it was an Infinity, a new Infinity, and it had all that stuff. And I really like the top-down camera where it just like has the fisheye lens camera set up, so it looks like there's cameras above you, and it's like, how does that work? But it does. It's pretty cool stuff.
Weird.
All right. I probably will see the Garfield movie because of my kids.
I've asked all my nephews and nieces, like, hey, you guys want to see the Garfield movie, right? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
The one was like, yeah. And then AJ or Chris was like, hey, what color is Garfield? And they're like, green. So it's like, yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
No, you're thinking of normal, you dumb bitch. Sorry.
Somebody's gonna see this movie with me.
Hey You Peekaboo says Final Fantasy 7 Rebart exclusivity runs out nowish. Tell us the secrets. When is the announcement for the PC version? God, I guess that could show up like at an Xbox showcase, I suppose. Not Final Fantasy 7, maybe Final Fantasy 16.
There's that PC gaming show, right?
There is that PC gaming show, yeah. Not impossible. But I don't know. Honestly, if they were trying to make a splash, they would probably just show up at Summer Game Fest now because a lot of people watch that.
Steam version coming soon. Maybe as soon as possible for that one.
Yep, for real. Nintendogs says, what are the chances of a Konami showcase this summer? Earlier this year, they announced a Yu-Gi-Oh! Retro collection for this year and have said nothing since, also hoping to finally see Tomb Raider. Well, they're having that Silent Hill show later this week, so...
Yeah.
There you go.
If they're doing that separately, I don't think we're going to get some other separate Konami show. So, but they could have stuff showing up at all these other shows.
Summer Game Fest could easily have like the Castlevania game that's been rumored to be in the works. I would love that. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it's still too early for that. I hope not. I hope that game's coming out relatively soon. But
I'm terrified of that game.
Oh, sure.
I don't know. It could be so many things.
It could be anything. It could be so bad. It could be really good.
I'm not saying there's only one thing that I want, but there's maybe like 3 things that I could accept from it. And
I would accept 4, and one of them you would hate is like a spiritual successor to the N64 games, which I have a real soft spot for.
Yeah, somebody's like, oh, have you guys thought about doing Castlevania 64 for 64? I'm like,
oh, please no, don't do it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, no, everyone defends those games now. I know
there's
it's
a
weird.
Frankenstein with like a chainsaw for a hand. It's great.
Yeah, and I think it takes place at a time before chainsaws were invented.
So listen, who knows what happens in Transylvania? Maybe they invented it. You don't know.
Maybe that man right there invented chainsaws. No one defends Matt. I'm telling you, people defend Castlevania 64 like crazy these days.
Yeah, it's
wild.
Yeah, it is like on the border of so bad it's fun / good, and actually kind of okay if you forgive it a lot.
I kind of do want to play because like I rented it when it came out and I did hate it.
Same.
And now it's like maybe if I
hate it when I rented it because it's not what I wanted at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not on NSO, is it? That's a shame.
Yeah, this should just be on NSO. Like, come on.
There should be.
I'm not doing anything else with that or its sequel. Just do that. Legacy of Darkness, right? Yeah, just do it.
Josh Page sent in a super chat, but no message. But thank you so much, Josh Page. I appreciate it.
Josh later wrote down what they wanted to say. It was, just got back from Disney. If you eat at Rainforest Cafe, try to eat at T-Rex at Disney Springs. Similar vibes, but dinosaur themed. Yeah, I meant to say this, but Disney Springs has a Rainforest Cafe, but then there's a sister restaurant. I think it's even the same company. It's called T-Rex. Same thing. It's dinosaurs instead of like gorillas and stuff.
Okay, I'd have to ask the kids how they feel because like sometimes they run hot and cold on dinosaurs compared to like cats and stuff.
I mean, if they are specifically wanting Rainforest Cafe, then just give them Rainforest Cafe.
That's probably will happen, but I will float the idea of T-Rex. I mean, that sounds cool. Yeah. So we'll see what they say. It's fun.
Yeah, that was one of the first alcoholic drinks I ever had. There was a frozen mojito at T-Rex. There's
that sounds really good. That's a good first drink.
Trivia. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I think I have that novelty glass still somewhere. It would light up. It was fun.
Peppermint schnapps, was that my first? Something like that. It was an embarrassing night. All right.
Maybe someday we'll learn more.
I'll just tell you right now. We were in my friend's basement, and they had a table in the middle of like everyone was sitting on the couches, and we were all kind of huddled around. So I'm like, I'll sit on the table. And it was a glass pane table, and my butt went right through it, and it gouged my butt cheek and caused a permanent scar from where I hurt myself. And Dad was furious at me, and then he found out I was bleeding. He's like, well, that's punishment enough. So you just get out here, go deal with your bleeding ass, Jeff Grubb. And I left and was still pretty drunk.
Go deal with your bleeding ass, Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, put it on my tombstone. Yeah.
I want to see that scar someday. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, yeah, it'll happen. Don't worry, everybody.
That's fucked up that he ate so many sunflower seeds that his butthole stopped working.
That's completely unrelated. Willow Davis says, I was listening to an Arlo speculations video about Switch 2, and now I'm 100% team Prime 4 on Switch 1. Never mind. If Arlo says it, then it's not happening.
Well, if Arlo the Muppet thinks that it's going to be on the Switch 1, who am I?
Both in the opposite direction with that. Who the fuck knows? I'm standing my ground. That's all I know. Yeah, I do have a big butt. That's right, Gamefire.
I cannot lie.
That's what
other game journalists can't deny. When a Grubb walks
BBL in. Jeffrey. All right, that does it for the super chats. Mike, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. If you guys want to send in more super chats, please do. We will read the rest of them before the end of the show. Let's take one more break here. We'll get ready for our next segment, talking about the ports people want to see on the Switch 2.
All right.
All right.
You want to set that up?
Yep. Give me a moment.
I'm bathroom.
No, now.
All right. Wait, okay.
No moment.
I'm dragging ass,
Good
Christian.
now.
Please. God, you're such a taskmaster. God damn it. Let me live.
We
Oh,
need
I
a
fucked it up.
whip sound effect.
All right, there's that. Man, I went and got
The one that
Allegra,
helped.
and it just did not help at
Oh.
all. So, Alan Miracle, what'd you
Oh.
say? Mucinex Sinus Max? Is that what you said?
High octane shit.
I want that industrial fucking antihistamine shit. Recommend it to me in chat. I will talk to a doctor if I have to. You tell me what I should go for. Arlo's Keeley's burner account. That sounds right. Okay. There's that. This feels like how we normally do this. BBL Jeffrey.
I said PPL, but you said
I
BBL,
knew what you
so
said,
I'll
but
just let it cheat. Oh, you know? Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was just being a
Now
pervert.
that you say it, makes more sense that you knew, and you purposely changed it to BBL.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's that. And then Discord. Oh no, he's back. He's mad I'm not set up yet.
I'm so sleepy. No, he's not back. We're so scared of him.
Daddy's home.
We're having so much fun. We have so much fun. The podcast go like 3 hours long and shit.
You guys do another long one?
What's that?
I didn't listen to the last one. Did you guys go a long time again?
No, it's just 2 hours.
Okay.
A little bit. Long.
2.5, but all right.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just like half an hour. That's
Yeah, it was-
That's pretty much just 2
Give or
hours.
take.
Okay. There we go.
It's just 1 week. It's just like
What's the question? I never even thought about it. Let's see here. What third-party games?
parties? Yeah.
Okay.
You want on Switch?
3 days. Today is almost over. Tomorrow is a weekend.
Tomorrow's a day away.
What are you drinking on there?
The sun will come out. I almost got a beer. I only have the 14% beers. I almost went for it anyways, and then I felt ashamed and got a diet green tea instead.
Jeff will be ashamed tomorrow.
I should drink
Your
water.
bottom dollar that tomorrow he'll feel
Juice.
shame. Okay.
Just thinking about Grubb morrow drains away all the
That's a super
cobwebs
chat,
and the sorrow.
Good super
So
chat.
there's none. Look at this new formatting. Look at you go.
Look at that.
Oh, fancy,
There we go.
fancy.
Let's read this Chris Pratt super chat when we come back.
Okay. And I think I'm ready.
Right.
All right.
Let's go then.
And we're back. Jeff, I think a special friend actually just wrote in a moment ago.
Yeah, he texted me, but then he also was nice enough to send it as a super chat. He knows we need to get paid, so appreciate it, Chris Son. Chris Pratt writes in, "Thank you for all your kind words about Garfield." Of course, buddy. Anytime.
You're welcome.
Anytime.
You're welcome. Congratulations on the successful launch. You almost took down Furiosa. I saw the Chris Pratt wax figure at the Hollywood Wax Museum.
Yeah. Did he
Exciting.
exude the Chris Son energy you needed?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm happy for you. What was your favorite
So
wax human?
I was just mostly amused by the varying degrees of quality.
Yeah.
Like the Jack Black as Nacho Libre one was like that was just somebody else and they put a luchador mask on it. But then like some of them would look very good. Like the Taylor Swift one was also upsetting. There was a Robin Williams one that looked really good, but it was like old Robin Williams and it made me uncomfortable.
Sure.
Leonardo DiCaprio looked like shit, but that guy from The Hangover looked good. Voice
Zach
of Rocket
Galifianakis?
Raccoon. No.
Oh,
Voice of Rocket
Bradley
Raccoon.
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper looked pretty good, right? So, yeah, it was
Bradley
fun, though.
Cooper, most known for The Hangover, probably still. Yeah, chat, you think so? I don't think Mike was out of line for saying for The Hangover. I think that's right.
He's been in a lot of things. He's in,
but I think saying the guy from The Hangover is probably the. I mean, you also said Rocket Raccoon, which is the two things you would say.
Yeah. Tell me something, Grubb. Aren't you tired of being a nub?
Born on a Star.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or do you need more? We should do a whole duet.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there something else, Grubb's searching
You can tell me
for?
you like my big nose. That's the line I remember from that movie.
Grubb's falling.
What's your favorite song made for a movie?
I like
Crazy Heart.
Yeah. What?
Chef is walking away.
How'd he know? How'd he know? Oh my God! How'd he know?
It's your another soul, bro.
Wait, did I tell you that?
For that noise.
How'd you know?
I like it a lot too, and I think I don't know.
It's so good.
Oh, it's really.
I put that song on at 3 a.m. and just have myself a good cry. It's such a good song.
It's a good movie. It's a really good song, though.
It's a good movie. It's a really good song.
Oh boy.
God. Your heart's on the loose. Oh my God. I was just about to say, well, remember the movie Crazy? Oh my God. We need to be on the Newlywed game.
Yeah, we would crush that shit. We should do oh man, okay. Okay, we do need a little bit more something for the live show. Maybe I can get someone to set us up the Newlywed game. We'll see who else we can compete with. Like Dan and Bacalar versus you and me or something like that. Yeah.
It's impressive because most people would have assumed it would be something Disney from me.
Oh boy.
Oh no, Chris Pratt just says in a super chat that he wants all his money, but no, Chris.
Has Chris Pratt ever sang in a movie? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
He had a song in Lego Movie 2. Lego Movie 1 was more of that song that he was there was a montage played over him. Everything is awesome. That was pretty good.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. I saw a Chris song. Look, you have a long career ahead of you. Don't worry.
Yeah, you got a chance.
You're not ready to play an old, sad person yet. Like, Jeff Bridges did so powerfully at Crazy Heart. I didn't think anybody else on this planet even thought about Crazy Heart.
I think about Crazy. I got it on my Plex server and I watch it every once in a while. Yeah.
That's fucking song. It's so good. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that was incredible. All right. Good times. Good friendship stuff here. But Jeff, the question today. So, ports. If everybody's wondering what ports we might be seeing on the Switch 2 when it comes out, how many of those we might see at launch. But, presumably Switch 2 is going to be more powerful enough that there's going to be a lot more games available for the porting process. And you would think, especially early on, that'll be important to kind of get the Switch 2 library going. Is there something kind of specific that you think about? Or I guess before that, do you even really think about this? Because you use the Steam Deck a lot. Pretty much any game you want is available there. So does that kind of negate the excitement of, say, having a Resident Evil 4 remake on Switch 2?
It doesn't negate the excitement, especially because I think Nintendo can do a really good device, especially if they have an OLED version relatively early on, which they may or may not. We'll see. But I like using my Switch still, and I would love to have reasons to use the Switch 2 beyond just what Nintendo's putting out or the exclusives. But it mostly still does negate it. Not entirely, but mostly does. That said, it's like the games I would want to come to Switch 2 are the ones I would want to get more attention. Not necessarily the ones that wouldn't it be nice if Nintendo fans finally got this game? That's not really what I'm looking for. Like when The Witcher came to the Switch. That was it was interesting. It was cool that it got done. I think Saber Interactive did really good work with that. That was impressive. But it's not necessarily what I'm looking for. What I would be wanting is this device has a huge audience. What is something that could really benefit from that? And that leads to be more like the indie game route. And I think Shadows of Doubt, which is that voxel procedurally generated detective game that I really like. It's in early access. It's on Steam. I think if the Switch 2 could run that really well, which is the Steam Deck can kind of struggles with that a little bit. So it's like if the Switch 2 is a little bit more powerful than a Steam Deck, could handle that on low quality, I would love for that game to be introduced to a whole new audience. And if it like comes out in 1.0 and comes to the consoles as well and Switch 2, I think that would be fantastic. So it's things along those lines that I'm mostly looking at.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's kind of part of why I went like remake and rebirth Final Fantasy VII on Switch, right? Like, you know, it was like remake. I was like, oh, that maybe should have sold more. And rebirth it's something like, So hopefully you put those out on Switch. That expands the audience for those because I really like those games.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know,
yeah.
Well, another one that it only recently had its kind of console versions release. I liked that System Shock remake from last year.
Yeah, good call.
I thought that was great.
It just came to consoles, not
right,
Switch,
exactly.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it didn't come to Switch, but it's on like even Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So if it's on Xbox One and PS4, I'm hoping that can be on Switch too. I mean, I would absolutely assume it should be. I think that'd be a great kind of early Switch 2 game for people to check out. Even me, I'd go back and play it. I think and they added a lot of stuff with that console version. I think you can do a female protagonist now, a lot of other tweaks and stuff.
Yeah, there was stuff that like they talked about even like when the game was originally coming out that they were going to do, and I guess they did a lot of that stuff finally for this version. We should just go back and play that game.
That game I think got lost in last year's kind of ridiculous shuffle. But I was really impressed by what I played of it, so I definitely want to go back for more.
Is that team, maybe not that team, but someone's still making a new System Shock, right? Is that still...
There was a System Shock 3, Jeff, and I feel like Warren Spector was even attached to that at some point. I don't remember. And I honestly feel like...
Oh, Tencent holds the rights? Jesus, okay. Well, that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah, so Warren Spector stated that Other Side, what the studio working on it, stopped working on it in 2019. So there was a System Shock 3. I don't think it's in development anymore. But I think Night Dive did say that they do intend to develop the System Shock 2 remake, which is
I welcome it.
A very important game. Like System Shock 1 was very important for being like this, immersive sim thing. System Shock 2 is very important for being kind of this horror RPG thing, right? So they're very different games in a lot of ways. And System Shock 2 is obviously the Ken Levine one. It's the one that's the precursor to BioShock in a lot of ways. So that would be fantastic also. All right then. Well, should we see what our community has to say
Let's do it.
For this, please? Although, yeah, I think some people maybe were confused by the question, but we'll roll with it anyways.
Yeah, all right. Am I reading these or do you read these?
You read these. Wait, no, I do. What the hell am I talking about?
It would be very helpful if you could read these, especially because I'm dragging ass over here. So please.
Well, you know what? It's my job anyways, Jeff.
Okay,
but yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but Cat. I should yell at Christian for not wording it correctly. Actually, Christian, what third-party games would you like to see in the Switch 2? That's a little vague, Christian. What?
I literally copy and pasted the shit you asked me on the fucking DM.
You guys should feel lucky right now if you're listening to this.
Look at that.
These arguments, you're usually not privy to these, but they're daily. Us yelling at each other like this. So this should be Patreon only content, guys. Honestly, this is the good stuff.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I wrote, but you should have known what I meant.
I don't know, man. Just
Christian, I'll pay extra this month. I'm sorry you have to deal with this.
I forgot. Wow. So Casual says, Haunted Chocolate's here. No, yeah. You should have also known what I meant, Casual. Look, of course.
I'm only right.
Bench JC says, Bravely Default 3. Also not what I meant, but that's okay. I don't think they're going to make more Bravely Defaults. I don't know.
I think they should not for a while if they're going to give it some time.
Darachi says, if they brought the Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise to Switch 2, I'd buy every single game in that franchise a third time. There you go. That's what I meant.
That's ideal. That would be great.
I would. Yeah, that I would love. I want to play.
I'm kind of expecting that too. That makes so much sense. It just should happen.
Yeah, I want to get into that series, and I haven't, so I definitely need to. Absolutely.
Yep.
Stellar Eden says Stellar Blade because we're never getting Bayonetta 4. Yeah, that'd be good. Port over Stellar Blade.
Right,
Why
yeah,
not?
Stellar Blade, like,
all right.
That could happen, I suppose, yeah.
Now even chat's turned against me. They're like, what did I mean? I meant ports is all. I meant what third-party ports, not games that aren't out yet. That's all I meant. I meant ports, not just all third-party games. And it's my fault, to be clear. Christian, I apologize for temporarily blaming you. Villain Max says there's Master Chief Halo. I mean, it's funny, Jeff. It is just absolutely not impossible that a Halo game comes out on the Switch 2 during its life, huh?
Yep. I mean, if suddenly they're like, I don't know, Halo Infinite's out on Switch, the multiplayer, go play it. I'm like, oh, okay. I would not be that shocked anymore.
You think it'd be that, or you think it'd be Master Chief Collection?
It could be either one. I honestly have no preference or expectation.
For some reason, there's something like appealing to me about playing Halo 1 on my Switch.
I think when you say it like that, maybe it's more likely that it's the Master Chief Collection. Sure.
Ava Janice's Elden Ring. Yeah, I mean, that one is like, come on, what are we doing here if we don't have Elden Ring on the Switch too?
Elden Ring, if it's not a launch game, something went wrong. They messed up. They do not understand the appeal of Elden Ring if they don't have that ready to go.
Right. And I hope it's just not like, I don't know, because, it's like we're wondering, hey, why hasn't Bloodborne been like remastered or just updated yet? And it's because, well, they want to do it themselves and they're busy. I hope it's like not that. Find somebody, Bandai Namco, find somebody that is going to port Elden Ring to the Switch and make it happen. Switch 2. Willow Davis says Death Stranding 2 unless someone wants to let me borrow their PS5. That's those are PlayStation exclusive though, so those aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, it came to PC and 505 published it there, but on console it's published by Sony. So it'd be unlikely, but I don't guess that's the same thing with Stellar Blade, so I don't know.
Mr. Bohr says if Double Fine makes a new game, I'll play it where I can, but the Switch 2 would be a logical place to put it. Do you think there's any chance Double Fine's next game is an Xbox exclusive? Let me put it that way.
I don't know. With the rumors that like that new Doom game is going to be out on PS5 as well, I think that they're like games like this also makes sense to just be everywhere. Why not you give it all the... I mean, Psychonauts 2 was because of legacy reasons, but it's like, well, now you just continue that. Yeah.
That's right. I wasn't here for that. Why are we making I guess I know why, but so we're making a medieval
instead
Doom
of
instead of just making Hexen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they do that and they like bring all that stuff together into a universe, maybe a multiverse, just to really get you popped, then it could make some sense. I get why it's called Doom, though. I hope it does have a ton of Hexen shit in there.
Right, like I hope it alludes to Hexen a lot and just says the words Hexen at some point. Even
right.
like
I hope it just basically turns into a Hexen game, like unexpectedly.
It's kind of like, I mean, if it's really medieval and they don't just mean like the vibe, like there's not going to be guns. It's like, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
I expect it's going to be like tridents shooting fireballs, very Hexen-like.
Yeah. Oh, so it's going to be on Immortals of Avium-like.
Exactly. Someone is finally hopping on that trend, getting on that money train.
Jedi Moss Forces, we all know Hades 2 would crush on Switch 2 as a launch game. That seems like a distinct possibility, Jeff.
Yes, yes, 100%. Hades made a ton of money on Switch. Nintendo loves Hades and Supergiant. That's happening.
Vander Lyle says Mini Shoot Adventures. This isn't on the normal Switch somehow.
It's only on Steam right now. I bet.
It's weird.
I think the team will get around. They probably just weren't expecting it to pop off as hard as it did.
Small team.
It'll probably be on Switch soon, I would guess.
Dugan says more games like Cadence of Hyrule, Star Fox by Hello Games, Star Tropics by Finji, The Tunic People, Rusty's Real Dual Baseball by FromSoft. The list goes on. I do like, yeah. That should be an initiative that they do a lot more with. Absolutely. 2 times Crown Beefhammer says something you can play most of these answers on a Steam Deck, but there's only one real answer, and it's from Raw Thrills, the NBA Superstars game.
Yeah, this just got announced, Mike. Did you see this while you were gone?
I did see that. That's neat. I was at a Dave & Buster's killing some time, actually, at one point during my travels, and they had a lot of Raw Thrills games there.
Well represented at most arcades these days, yes.
Yeah. Chaos Buckaroo says the whole Dragon Quest series, there's no reason they should be missing from Switch. I didn't bring this up, but they did finally re-tease the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. But it was even more than that. It was done in a way that a lot of people think that we are getting the first 3 Dragon Quest games in HD 2D, and that makes sense if they do that. So that's nice.
That'd be awesome.
We'll probably be hearing about those this summer, or at least
I think that probably shows back up at the Direct in June, I would hope.
Yep. Nolan says Halo Master Chief Collection. That's the one I want. Octo says it's time. It's Haze 2. To be clear, we're just rolling with this all third-party thing at this point. It's my bad. Jeff, did you have a different answer for me if it was open to any not just past but future third-party games.
Sure. Elden Ring 2, The Witcher 4, yeah, all that stuff, all the big games.
Haze 3.
Haze 3 and 4
made
simultaneously, like Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Can you imagine playing Haze 1 now? What's the last level of Haze?
No one knows. There's no one alive who knows.
Nobody knows. Shoji Koto has Grand Theft Auto 6. Hey, if you want to even have a chance of selling more copies than Grand Theft Auto 5, I think you have to put it on Switch if you care about that.
Yeah, I bet Grand Theft Auto 6 ends up on the Switch too in one way or another eventually.
Adam Juice says, give me Mystical Ninja and Goemon's Great Adventure on NSO. Sure. Scream Mad says, boom, put Madden finally on Switch 2. Did they never release a single Madden game on the Switch?
No, and it was like last year where EA was like, maybe we missed out by not supporting the Switch more, and maybe we'll fix that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to like have a stronger presence at launch on Switch 2. But I think they recognize like there's a limit to that audience and what they want from sports games.
Yep, there just is. Haas Portal says Alan Wake 2. Haas Portal, how excited are you to play some more Daikatana tomorrow?
No.
You're cold on it too. It's gonna go great.
No. I'm like so devastated after reading that this is gonna take me like 20 to 30 hours of gameplay.
I think I am in favor of you treating it like how Dan did with Sonic 06, and maybe give you breaks between chapters.
Let's see how much longer it's going to take, and
let's see how much longer it takes. Because I know Dan will never vote for it, but he could be outvoted.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Alan Wake 2 should be there for sure. There's a game that again did well, but like probably could do better and needs exposure to a wider audience, especially if they plan to continue making those, and they do. So why not? Next one here is from Resident Evil. That's funny. Cryorsis. Some kind of Monster Hunter anniversary collection of older games. At least, I think I get that. At least for me, when it comes to Monster Hunter, I always just, if I want to play that, I want to play the new one, right? Generally, is how I feel with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that this next Monster Hunter, when it comes out, they'll be ready to have it go to the Switch too. Like, it'll be on, obviously, the next one is going to be like the sequel to World, right?
Wilds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's called Wilds, right? But it's like more a follow up to Worlds than to the Rise.
Yeah.
So
I get, yeah.
So I think the assumption there would be like don't think of it as a Switch game, but I think they will be ready to put that out on Switch too pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're going to have like the separate one for Switch this time.
Probably not.
Hammond of Texas says we got Skyrim on Switch. Why not a Fallout game on Switch too? We've never gotten a Fallout game on a Nintendo console, huh?
No. Yeah. That probably is a good place to like Fallout out to reinvigorate it. Yeah.
This is interesting. Input name here says Final Fantasy 14, and I mean I never thought about that. But why the heck not? Aside from kind of shoddy internet connections from the Switch too, but I mean, it's on a lot of consoles that are connecting through Wi-Fi already. They just put it on Xbox finally, so like they're already
if it has like
it to a console.
Wi-Fi 6E on that thing, which it really should, that'd be a really strong connection. That'd be great,
right? And I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is, they're very proud of their growth, but they're gonna have to like get creative. They want to find even more growth, and putting it on Switch sure would be a way to help accomplish that. I think a lot of people would double dip to get that Switch version so that they can play it on there. That makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that's like a year one thing for the Switch too, but I wouldn't be shocked if that happens eventually.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Jackie G says Shenmue 4. Man, dude, what's does Shenmue have a future, Jeff?
No, it has a past, and it should feel lucky it has that.
It is kind of wild to me that he like got that miracle chance to make a new one and didn't wrap it up. Like I know he always had this grand vision of how many chapters it would be.
9 games, right? 9 chapters or whatever. Like,
hey, look, let's pivot. The fact that you were able to squeak out this third one, and I mean, you had to kind of know what you had there a little bit. Kind of had to know that the glory days in Shenmue were behind you.
Yu Suzuki and what's the other? The U2.
I don't know.
Yuji Naka. They just seem like they're going to do their thing, and they don't care. They don't care about reality or the laws of man.
Adam GC says not Not exciting, but I would like to see EA Sports other than EAFC back, please. So yeah, but that might be happening.
Hey, put NHL on the Switch and I will buy it.
Joyzy says Star Wars 1313. Jeremy Biff says Project Bloom from Game Freak. Which one? Which Game Freak game is this? Is this the Nexon or Tencent one, or I forget what they're making games for anymore? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at
Project Bloom sounds like it could just be a Pikmin.
Yeah, but there is Pikmin Bloom. That is a game.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, Daniel says I would also like Bravely Default 3, please. Man, am I a curmudgeon with Bravely Default 2? Because I do feel like there are other people who are disappointed in it, but I don't know.
Maybe a little. I don't think you're that out of line.
I would like it if they did Bravely Third and it was like those characters from the first two games again. I don't. I get it with Final Fantasy how they reset a lot, but it was weird that we had two games that were the same characters, the same storyline. Then we reset it for the third one, and that one was called Bravely Default 2. Yeah, and I don't know.
That should just be Final Fantasy's thing. Other franchises shouldn't try to do that.
Like Dragon Quest does it, and that's fine. Yeah, a few can do it.
Right. The ones that have been doing it for a long time, sure. But otherwise,
I like the ones that are cute about, I say some shit about Xenoblade, but I do like how at first those games all seem completely separate, but they are connected and it is the same universe in fun ways. I like that stuff. Next one is from Caleb Ellis. This is the only atonement for not having Castlevania Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night on Switch 1 is to have it on Switch 2. Also, DS Collection as a treat. I think about it all the time, Jeff, how I cannot believe that Symphony of the Night is not on Switch.
It is. It's baffling. Like we get why the DS Collection isn't a thing. That's extra work. But Symphony of the Night is right there. It's on other stuff with Rondo. Come on, what's going on here?
Like those are both just like two of the best Castlevania games ever. You just make that collection. You charge $20 for it or whatever. I mean, like it cannot be that hard to do. I remember one time, when I was just talking about, wow, here's all the great Metroidvanias that are on the Switch, and I just put Symphony of the Night on that list because I was like, whoa. It must be on there. I haven't played on the Switch but it must. And people are like, something nice on the Switch. Yep. I was like, what?
It's baffling.
Yep. Leesman said, I'm not sure if my answer is more for me or my wife, but we would both love it if Sims 5 comes out on Switch 2. Is the next Sims game, you think that's going to be on consoles right away, or is it going to be a PC only thing for
It'll probably be on consoles right away. Maybe not Switch, but yeah.
It should be, though. Man.
Yeah, it should be.
It seems like... For what The Sims is, you think that would be a console that would make a lot of sense for that?
I think if they
all the Animal Crossing freaks.
If they look at what happened with Animal Crossing, they should know to have it on Switch. But it's EA, so I say probably not.
Yeah, Jamie H1224 says Yakuza and Fallout. Well, there's already mentioned, so I'm going to suggest Ratchet and Clank. If PlayStation isn't going to care their own audience when it comes to mascot platformers, then I think a Ratchet and Clank would sell pretty well on Nintendo. You would think so. I think PlayStation is still pretty far away from putting any of this stuff on Nintendo.
Would Ratchet and Clank sell more on the Switch than it did on the PS5?
Yeah, probably. Always Be Clothing says, this is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yep.
I would love to see them do something. I mean, just put it on NSO. Why the hell not?
People
we're all waiting for the remake of Final Fantasy Tactics. We know you're not remaking Advance. Just put it on NSO.
Yeah, for real. This is the first game I played while driving. Everybody, just so they know.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's start the Reddit thread.
Awesome.
Let's all wag our finger at Jeff. Only I'm allowed to do that.
Come at me.
Lenny Controversy Dick Denver says, bring Mr. Mosquito 1 and 2 to Switch. Also, those Japanese box arts, though. I really enjoyed the Delight Club stream of you all playing Mr. Mosquito. That was a fun time.
It was a good time. Jan was a natural at it. He really picked it up quick.
Yeah, it was good stuff. God, what was it you said during one of the streams? And I was just in my hotel room and I was just trying to catch up on stuff.
It was the Grubb bag, and it was the Mad Max game when we get the car and it's stripped bare, and it was like, oh, it's almost like we're gonna have to upgrade it. you enjoyed my Australian accent, I think. You texted me about it, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, that's sweet. That's a real pick me up. I'm glad you like that, Mike.
Oh, I was dying. It was like, oh, it's a car. He's like, oh, it's a car. It's not much right now. Then you was like, so natural. Like, it's almost like we'll have to upgrade. I was dying.
And like the Australian accent actually came out how I intended it to. It was great. It was great.
It's like, I have to upgrade. I love jokes pointing out the video gamification of Tommy Pencil says Sony is kind of the same spot as Microsoft when it comes to growth. They're just not as loud about it. How long until Sony games show up on the next Switch? There's Ratchet and Clank. I still think it's a while.
Yeah. They have a lot more to mine on PC and stuff. So,
but like, if that happens, then like Ratchet and Clank should be one of the first ones that they would do that with.
They still got to go like day and date on PC before they get to that point. And they're not even quite that close to that. They're like closer, but they're not that close.
Yeah. Sludge Reinhold says Bloodborne Remastered. That's kind of a similar thing where we had to, like, Sony's involved there, unfortunately, because that is one that I would love to have on Switch 2. Say they go like Sekiro, some of the other Dark Souls that aren't on there yet, right? That would be amazing.
Sekiro would be great. Armored Core 6, all the From stuff that could be on there would be great.
I like Armored Core 6 a lot.
Yep.
Max says, I'd like to see some that are currently exclusive to Apple Arcade, namely Fantasian, which is the Sakaguchi RPG, the Final
Fantasy. The one about Fantasy Asians, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot you said that. I forgot you asked Jim that.
No, I asked Emma that.
Oh, you asked. That's right. You asked Emma, and Emma, who's usually so nice to you.
She's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's like, what's wrong with you?
I'm like,
is it called that? Because it's fantasy and Asian. Like, what the hell is the matter
I see portmanteaus everywhere. What do you want from me?
Did you ever see Fantasia? Do you think it was called that because of fantasy in Asia?
I do. No, of course, no. I think I worked myself into a shoot on that where I'm like, that's a stupid thing. Of course, it doesn't mean that. And then I just thought about it so much. I'm like, nope, that's what it means. So, yeah.
And Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
That one I would love to see on Switch, but Apple Arcade only right now.
Let's pause here for a moment. Maybe check. We might be losing some frames, but we'll take a break before we get to the rest of these anyway. So let's.
Sounds good.
All right, BRB.
We are not losing any frames.
Okay.
Yeah, we were. It's probably a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it seems like it's a YouTube thing. Yeah.
It's
all right, everyone.
Now. Hey, Mike, did you read Charter Wolf submission? It was pretty up there.
It's like all those retro games. There was a big picture of a book.
Oh, I did skip that. You're right. I don't know why. It was just my bad. Thank you. I'll get to that.
Bring it back.
Yeah, we can come back now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just thank you for pointing that out, everybody. So I don't think you missed much. We're just talking about, I don't know, bullshit. Jeff's bleeding ass again.
Yeah.
And we're back. We got more of our audience telling us what third-party games, not just sports, Jeff, but what third-party games in general they want to see on the Switch too, just like I always intended. I was writing a lot of things wrong. I was tweeting badly. My brain's a mess. All the travel got to me. You should all pity me instead of pointing and laughing at me. That's what I think.
Poor baby.
The Paper Mario Wolf 5 says, do retro games count? Because if so, and there's a pic of a lot of Dreamcast games and a couple Sega Saturn games, only the good ones like Madden 97 and Sonic 3D Blast. Yeah, I would love, I don't know if it'd be NSO, but I would just love for Sega to do like a Dreamcast collection or something. But I mean, we said before, there's just something about that era starting with Dreamcast and GameCube and all that stuff where you don't get those kind of collections. You'll maybe get like games in a series in a collection. But like otherwise, it has to be something like that, or it has to be a remaster. Those games get more special treatments than just even like PlayStation 1 games, where it's just like, here's a bunch of them or what have you. I see House of the Dead 2 here. I played a House of the Dead game at the Dave & Buster's I had never heard of before. It wasn't numbered, so I know about House of the Dead 1 through 4. So I assume this is like the unnumbered 5th one. It looked like it was maybe like an early 2010s kind of thing, and it was very fun, actually. Huh. You had like automatic, kind of more of like an automatic rifle kind of thing, and you could like pick 2 sub guns, and it was still very House of the Dead with like the stupid cutscenes and the bad dialogue, and it was just kind of over the top. And I'm like, I gotta find out more about this random House of the Dead game, which was absolutely never ported over. A Scarlet Dawn, I think, is the one. 2018. Wow, it came out 2018.
Whoa, really?
It felt way older.
Right.
To be honest.
Pre-pandemic, barely. Okay.
I love that Sega does still just like make arcade games sometimes like this, right? Like
this is what I was saying on the Bombcast somewhere today that there are so many Sega arcade only games from so many generations that I feel like I've completely missed, that we need to just do a like long UPF and play a bunch of them like back to back or something like that.
But it was fun. I mean, there's like just, it's weird. Like, there's just never going to be a home port version of that. I forgot that they did a remake of House of the Dead 1 a couple years ago, by the way.
That's right, they did.
That?
Yeah,
that happened. Huh. That did happen. Weird. All right, now I have to find out where it was before stopping. It was before this Kramer hentai thing. Next up is from JD Camp. It says, Star Citizen. I saw it reached some new ridiculous funding thing and still doesn't have a release date.
It's like a funding of like $250 million or $250 million or like maybe $500 million or something like that.
Something ridiculous. I don't know. It's I've never played a second of it though. I don't know if I'm about to start. I mean, is the game good? I
know people who play that game and they're like, yeah, it's good. They say that.
I don't know. That also sounds like a UPF eventually. We'll check in on it.
Hey, did you see Kate 6 is alive again, Christian? I told you.
We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about it already. But I just saw something about it again today. It reminded me of that time you told me nobody liked Kate 6.
Nobody likes Kate 6.
Yeah. Breadfish says, Kramer I should be nice to Christian. I already falsely accused him of making my mistake. Breadfish says, Kramer hentai adventure. I never know how to say hentai or I don't know. It is hentai, and then I always say hentai, but then a part of my brain's like, it's supposed to be henty. I blew it. It's absolutely not.
Yeah, the Legend of Henty was my favorite Sega Genesis game. It's a Zelda clone.
Wow, you just made a Legend of Senti reference. That's gonna really go out with the kids.
The kids love those.
Is this a real game or just a funny fake screenshot?
No, it's real. What do you mean, Mike?
Does it have nipples? Does it like
Yeah, it's got the nipple DLC.
Explicit? No, is it explicit?
Yeah, you're gonna see Kramer's nipples.
Saw a lot of nipples in Furiosa.
Really?
Male nipples.
Sure, nipple's a nipple.
Yeah, a lot of them are bleeding. Dr. Ryan said,
like my
just
butt.
put Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on the system already. I'm begging you, Square. Michael Riley says Metal Gear Solid 4 because I just want it anywhere besides PS3. I mean, there's a Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. I assume they call it that because there's a Volume 2.
And you can't do a Volume 2 without Metal Gear Solid 4.
No, like otherwise the only other game that could reasonably be on there is like Peace Walker, like maybe Portable Ops, but you can't do it with just those two. It would have to have 4. That would be the whole point.
Yep.
How about Metal Gear Acid?
They can maybe throw Acid. I don't think you can do it with just the PSP games. Let me put it that way. Maybe you can try to get away with that. But look, I would be happy they had Acid and Acid 2 on there, but I think you need 4 to really anchor that whole thing.
4 is gonna be on there. It's gonna happen. We're gonna finally get it.
It could be announced this summer.
Yeah. They said they had a lot of success with that first one. One of the major reasons that they saw growth again, like a major growth in their video game business, is because of Metal Gear Solid Volume 1. So
there you go. Laser Wolf says Assassin's Creed Shadows and other Assassin's Creed games. Ubisoft has great support with cloud saves across devices. Yeah, sure.
That's right. It does.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft put some games on Switch, obviously. They've made some originals on there, but hopefully
Ubisoft loves supporting new hardware. They'll be there in a big way in that first year.
Yeah, and hopefully, for at least a good while. It's just like, all the Ubisoft games just come out on this now. So Big Tony, the Final Fantasy guy, has the first 7 Yakuza games on here, and this is interesting. He says Yakuza 0 has the best atmosphere. Yakuza 1 just says Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remake. Yakuza 2 apparently is the best green. Ooh. I think that Persona 6 would like to have a word with you.
Oh, man. Serious business.
Persona 3, best. Persona 3. Yakuza 3, best story. Yakuza 4, best combat. Yakuza 5, the best bosses. Yakuza 6, Song of Life, the best music. And then Yakuza 7, like a dragon, best graphics. Interesting. They're all
Remember that Yakuza offshoot that had zombies in it?
Yeah, that was a PS2 one still.
Yeah, I think so. A long time ago.
It probably has the best zombies.
Probably has the best zombies in the series.
Vision 49 says, genuinely can't comprehend why like Chrono Trigger Pixel Master doesn't exist. Yeah, they got to do something with Chrono.
Yep.
Like, absolutely.
I think with this new initiative of them making good games, they're going to do something with Chrono Trigger.
P Money OG says Beautiful Joe 3, please. Remasters of the original games would be nice too. Yeah, I brought that up earlier. They should absolutely do something with Beautiful Joe. I think a collection of 1 and 2, maybe even that weird DS game would make a lot of sense. There's a fighting game too on the GameCube, Red Hot Rumble. You throw that in there if you want to. Why not? Ali Miracle says current roster of modern fighters: Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy versus would be amazing. Doing this much like folks are doing with the Steam Deck for locals, traveling for things would be amazing given how small stick / leverless can be. Yeah, I'd love to see a lot of these fighting games on Switch, especially Street Fighter 6. Hey, we had Street Fighter 4 on the 3DS for crying out loud. So come on. Street Fighter 6 specifically as a launch game would be kind of awesome.
I remember all the over-the-shoulder fighting on Street Fighter on the 3DS. That's pretty cool.
Oh, God.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
3D?
That's wild.
Cool.
Well, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent. What are you guys' feelings about Virtual Fighter Kids?
Oh, yeah. It's interesting you brought that up because I liked that game a lot as a kid. I was watching, I think, a Sega Lord X video.
I watched that same video last night while I was working out. Yeah.
I've heard him say this before. It's like, oh, that game's bad and it was a waste of everyone's time. And I was like, I like that game. I
thought I remember people liking it. It was like when I was reading magazines, I thought they did.
Sega Lord X was actually probably already a teenager at that point.
Okay.
Is all that is. Like, I was actually a kid.
Okay. So that makes some sense. There was also that Killing Time shooter in that video. I don't remember that at all. Did you ever play Killing Time?
No, I did not know much about Killing Time either.
It looked cool. I hope Night Dive does that.
I can't wait for it PO'd, by the way, from Night Dive.
I think I have a code for that. I need to actually play that.
Oh, okay. Wonk says Threads of Fate 2, part of Square's new strategy to only focus on the surefire smashes. She can shove her demands up her butt, says this character from Threads of Fate. First Threads of Fate, Jeff, that's a Square Enix game that I bought recently and want to play. I think even you would like it. It's a late PS1 Square Enix action RPG that is, by all accounts, supposed to be pretty funny. And it, for everything I see, it actually does seem funny. Like this, you can play as a guy or a girl, and the girl is actually just kind of like an evil jerk in a funny way, I think.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to play Threads of Fate eventually.
I'll check this out.
Bugadillo, it's not supposed to be a very long game either. Bugadillo says excited for whatever the new Crazy Taxi is going to be. Feels like a no-brainer for Switch 2. Can the Switch handle super games?
I don't know if it's super game compatible.
We'll see. But you know,
they should put that in the box. Switch 2 super game compatible.
Like that Shinobi game better be there right away. And that's I can't wait for that Shinobi game. Oops, sorry, my poker chips that I fiddle with when flying. But yeah, can't wait for Shinobi. Aloko the Great. I don't know. I saw Aloko the Great and I read it as Echo the Dolphin. I have a big problem with Echo. Rare Replay. Also, Grubb, I've been playing Animal Well since you brought it up. It just got the 4 flames and I'm loving it. I got to play some more Animal Well during my trip too, and I'm still quite digging that. Did
you skip like 5?
I skipped a couple, my mistake, but let's finish this one.
Yep.
Rare Replay again, but that made a lot of sense to me until I remembered how many of the games on there are just Xbox 360 games, right?
Yeah,
like the files and everything.
Right. We've had this conversation before, and we were both like, "Yeah, just put that out there." And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a ton of that." Still though, Switch 2. That would be cool if they get most of those games running. At the very least, Rare should have a bigger presence on Switch 2 if this is where Microsoft is headed.
All right, you're right. I skipped 5. Look, Mikey's all look. I told you all. I've been gone for a little bit.
I'm more impressed. Like you just went right down.
Just went right past them all. I don't know what that was. B says Nier Automata was a great port, so I would really enjoy seeing Nier Replicant, maybe even Drakengard with major enhancements. They did put Nier Automata on the Switch. That's right.
Yeah.
They may as well do it with Replicant. I don't know about Drakengard's chances, but who knows?
I feel like they're gonna like go back to Drakengard with one of these newer games, and then they'll try to bring those games back.
Wizard of Blast says new Persona Final Fantasy games. I'll be very curious to see how quickly the Persona 3 Reload gets on the Switch too.
Yeah.
Because and then like if Persona 6 is just kind of made so it can be on Switch 2 right away, I don't know why we need to wait years for that to happen again.
There, yeah.
Zayark says a new Ridge Racer. That's interesting, Jeff. I haven't thought about that, but
yeah, it doesn't sound plausible.
I mean, well, if you're just going off the cuff here, but like really think about it.
It would be
How
awesome.
much sense it
Like
makes.
the Switch 2
So
launched with a
good.
Ridge Racer. That would be fantastic.
That's when Ridge Racer was so good as being like a launch title game for these
Right.
consoles for so long.
It would be fun. I think it would hit really hard. I think if they especially kind of did it in a slightly retro futuristic style where it's like calling back to the PS1. Yeah.
It doesn't need to be an expensive game.
Right.
It doesn't need to be that expensive, man.
Make it on the side, make it in conjunction with Nintendo. These two companies are very close now. Bamco could be like, hey, we are making some games for you. We're bringing back maybe that. Honestly, this could show up at that direct. The Kid Icarus game, we're making that for you and stuff like that. Now, while we're doing that, can we put a small team on this and like maybe you could publish it even or help us get out there, co-publish it or something? I hope they can make that happen. That'd be great.
Oh God, and like. Yeah, and one of the other games I played at the Dave & Buster's was when Bandai Namco made that Mario Kart game, and you just have like a Mappy Land track, and you can play as like Pac-Man and the Tycho Drum Master. And it's like, man, if they could reverse that with Ridge Racer, because like Ridge Racer has like, oh, here's like a Pac-Man car, and there's like kind of Pac-Man aesthetics going on. You do some of that with just like some Nintendo stuff,
yeah,
like,
just Mario and a few other things. Yeah,
that'd be fun. Tears of the Boomer Vault 11 says this or remake or sequel, just do it. It's Mischief Makers. This is definitely one of my most wanted NSO games for sure. God, I hope we get that soon. Mischief Makers, another treasure joint.
Do we have any
cool
treasure
game.
games? Sin and Punishment's on NSO, right?
Sin and Punishment is, and the Genesis Guardian, Guardian Heroes.
Yeah, Guardian
Heroes. Gunstar Heroes.
Gunstar Heroes. Yes, I always mix those up.
Yeah, me too. Gunstar Heroes. We got Gunstar Heroes. So and Dynamite Heady, I think, right?
I don't remember.
I can't remember Dynamite Heady's on there. I think it is. It's somewhere. It might be on that other like Genesis collection you have to buy.
Okay.
Well, it's on one of the collections, the mini consoles for sure. Tick says not a big release, but I wish they'd bring Day of the Tentacle remastered over. Why haven't they done that already? Geez, yeah, why haven't they? That is weird. We have Grim Fandango on Switch, I think. That is bizarre. Yeah, they should absolutely just do that. Just like, somebody forgot, I think, to do it. Aloko the Great says Rare Replay. Also, Grubb, I've been playing. Oh, this is the one I said before, and I forgot. Right. And then Matt in the Big C said Beautiful Joe. Agree with me from earlier. So there you go, Jeff. We got there.
Yep, and I'm glad you're enjoying the Animal Well. That's everyone. I really did end up really liking that game. It's not my favorite all time or anything like that, but it's a really great game.
I was thinking about it just from the perspective how like you and I both like puzzle games, but kind of in different ways. Like you brought it up, I think, on the Bombcast today. That time we played that escape room game together, and we were good at different things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just like I don't know, something about this that appeals more to the way I like puzzle games. And what did you find the puzzles easy? I guess is my question. Because for me, it's like the right amount of difficulty. I'm not getting that frustrated. I could see maybe like this is the kind of stuff that you're pretty good at. Maybe kind of.
Yeah, I didn't like I didn't get stuck on any of the puzzles though. It's like once I'm in the room, I figured it out pretty quick, and then the times where I was stuck, it's like, oh, I'm lost. I just don't know where to go. So yeah.
See, I don't mind being. That's the thing. Like, I don't mind being lost.
I usually don't.
I mind being like faced with a problem and I can't solve and I get frustrated. That was my thing with The Witness, right?
Right.
It's like I knew I should know. I know I should know what to do, but I don't, and that's when I get kind of frustrated.
Sure.
Jeff, there are any more super chats?
You said this beautiful Joe one. I just I did.
Remember. Don't worry. How could you think I would forget?
You're right. Yeah, shame on me. Excuse me.
How dare you?
Yeah, I think we got some more super chats here. Let me see here. Chris Pratt asked for all their money back.
Skip any of them.
Phil Miasup says, how can Paper Mario have a 1,000-year door if the world is only 500 years old? Very good point. That's just Christian Science right there.
I do love thinking about like all these Mario RPGs. It's like, oh, we went to this different kingdom. It's always like the Bean Kingdom.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah, it's always like, and then it's like, man, what would like the world map of Mario look like if we tried to make sense of any of this, including Mario Odyssey, where we see a globe of the world, right?
And I like
Sasha land and all of this.
I like because like when you first play one of these, like the first one, you're like, oh well, here's the other kingdom. So in my head, it's always like, well, Bean Kingdom, that's the real other one. And then all these other games, you're right, have different kingdoms, and it's like, oh no, they just do this with every single one of these games.
Every single time, it's like, yeah, we went on vacation. That's so many Mario games. Like, I went on vacation.
Yep.
To this other place, and then immediately got roped into their problems.
Shout out to Prince Peasley though. Burrito says playing through System Shock right now, though it's not very immersive sim by today's standards. I'm pleasantly surprised by how frightening it is compared to, for example, BioShock. It's also extremely colorful. Yeah, I think like System Shock was like foundational, and then System Shock 2 is where it really grew into the immersive simness of it all. But System Shock 1 still is beloved, and that remake was really well done.
Dan Ricker says he pre-ordered the Zelda tree.
Yeah.
Yes, but also not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised. Klebfield sent in a super chat, but there's no message. Did we get a message from Klebfield? Let me know if that happened.
Kleb, I'm gonna look for. I can't scroll up much more. Oh, because of the time I refreshed when it broke. Well, I'm not sure. Kleb, if you're in chat, you want to write something, I will read it.
Nick Turbo says, "Bring Mass Effect Legendary Edition to Switch 2." That's a good.
Oh yeah,
that's like a no duh.
Those Mass Effect freaks, like that you'll get them excited.
Look at that. Game sent. Oh, all of them are going off. Look at that.
No, never mind. Okay. I don't want to make like a big deal about it because I know how you guys are. You're like, oh no, definitely do it. I'm telling you, if you mail that thing to me, I'm going to mail it back. And then if you mail it again, then I'll just keep it in my garage and I'll plug it in. Like that's just. It's like you can't make me plug this thing in. You just can't.
But I mean, you recognize how that's kind of being a spoil sport about the whole thing, right?
No, it's not.
Why not?
What, Dan? I have heard Dan say the words, I'm not doing this because I don't want to before. I think I'm allowed one.
Oh,
I think I'm
so
allowed.
Bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're really winning me over. That's for sure. Yeah. Look, again, I'm not going to get a big thing out of it because I know if I get like real mad, it's like, well, we got to do it. It's a funny bit. I'm not plugging in the game.
It'd still be a pretty funny bit.
Not coming in the house.
Well, okay. There is going to have to be some punishment then.
Why?
Because it's part of Blight Club now. Dan did it.
Since when?
I've done it since we got to the game set.
Dan did it. How many times do you think Dan activated that, you fool?
Well,
like 3
we
times.
watched them.
You have literally been hit by that shit 1,000 times more than Dan by
I'm
now.
more powerful than I've ever been.
you said you're dying of allergies. What
I've never had allergies before.
This?
I've never had allergies before. Oh no. Oh no. The game set's killing me.
Actually, maybe not even joking. How strange that you suddenly feel like shit constantly.
Have you been given allergies by the game set? Contact our lawyers for a class action lawsuit, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I don't know. I know you're not going to do it, but we will have to figure out some punishment. It won't be extreme. Whatever.
Who sent in the super chat without the thing? Was it Kleb?
Yeah, Klebfield, yes.
Klebfield says, thank you, Kleb. Love the show. Do you guys think Dusk Golem's latest Resident Evil claims can be trusted? I don't know much, but when I said it was Dusk Golem that made those claims, everybody else was suddenly in hush. I was like, oh, wow, well, then this might be real.
Yeah, Dusk Golem does their shit with Capcom specifically.
Yeah, I'm still suffering from the whiplash from a week ago. Everyone being like, well, sounds like it's Resident Evil 1, and now it's here. So
I'd have to look who did, because there was like reasons to believe that was true as well. But Dusk Golem is like pretty a sure thing usually.
It's the kind of good news with Resident Evil. It's like, look, I'll be happy no matter what. I would prefer this Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica route.
Oh, me too. That is actually the right move. 0
that's the right move. And it's kind of
Veronica.
exciting because, like, I think it would have been easier for them to just say, fuck it, we're going to do 5 or maybe 1. But I'm glad they're going to 0 and Code Veronica.
I could put like a Mucinex spray, like nose spray into the game sent.
There you go. Can you ask Dan for a truce for a week and just see how you feel about it?
He actually hasn't set it off all that much this week, and I've been kind of feeling worse and worse. So maybe I'm addicted to it.
Dan says no.
maybe I was having withdrawal symptoms. I do feel better suddenly. So.
Jesus Christ.
The Grey Goblin writes in, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate coming in July. That's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hades game. There was that new beat 'em up that was like pretty mediocre by most accounts. Then there's this Hades one that looks pretty cool.
I'm excited because this has been on Apple Arcade and people like it. So
right.
I want to try it.
It's okay. I have Apple Arcade now because I got that Mac. I'm gonna call it. I got that Macintosh computer.
Oh baby.
So maybe I'll try it out on there. See how I feel about it. All right, that does it for the super chats.
Jeff, I've been playing that 1,000-Year Door.
Mike, I've been playing that 1,000-Year Door.
It's good. So it actually was nice because like I kind of forgot it was coming out during my travels, and it was kind of timed out where I got to the end of Unicorn Overlord. Right on the launch day. And I was like, that night I beat it, but I was like,
so that Friday?
And start that. Yeah. Oh, no, it's that Thursday. Oh, that's right. That was the other thing I wanted to give you shit about. Like 2 times, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to play that tonight. And I was like, you can play it right now, Jeff. It's out today.
What? You don't just associate Nintendo releases with Friday? Because for a long time it was Sunday, and then they changed it to Friday like a decade and a half ago or 2 decades ago. And it's been Friday, and so I always look forward to Friday.
But I think we also had this conversation. I don't know if it's because we knew this one was coming on Thursday, or if
they did change it recently. Yes.
Yeah, like it already had happened. Yeah.
There's been like 2 games before this at least that were out on Thursday. Which one was like Endless Ocean. So it's like we weren't like talking about the release date for that. Like, yeah.
You're right. It's a very innocent mistake. But it's not like it's like reviewing a game and forgetting you ever played it.
Right. What kind of schmuck would do that? Yeah. But it was like weird. It's like, and then I'm like later that day, people are playing it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, and then I think I saw your message eventually, and I'm like, and then it all came back to me. Like, yeah, they switched to Thursday releases, and then I went and bought it. So there we go.
But real quick, I beat Unicorn Overlord. I did really like that game. It has a little bit of that problem where like it's a 50-hour game where within like 5 hours you know what that game is.
Right.
And there's another part where it's like I don't know if I want the game to be harder, but on the normal difficulty level, I just never even engage with the whole like setting up each character's little if-thens. I just like did the automatic thing, and that just always worked. So I never felt like I needed to go in there and mess around with it. Except for some bullshit reason at the very last fight, which I won't explain. So like I almost kind of wish like a Final Fantasy 12, it wouldn't have done that for me in some sense. It kind of has to though, because eventually you have like 50 characters in your army, and you can't like really be spending time with every single one of them. Maybe you can if you're an absolute freak, but no, it's just like optimize, and that got me there. I still really liked it. It was always a gorgeous game.
Good,
I was glad I played it. But Thousand Year Door, I have not played this since that GameCube version. I was excited for this remake, and it is just nice playing this game. Like, oh yeah, this is as good as I remember, actually. This is fun. I feel good about all those years I spent talking this one up, because it is just delightful.
Yep, you all are right about this game. I have now played more of 1,000 Year Door than I've ever played before. It keeps getting better is one of the things about it that I'm noticing, and it is very much not a difficult game. It's just such a fun game to be in. Like, so many great spaces, so many fun characters. Like, of course, just top of the line writing, really funny.
Very funny.
Really funny, but also just like warm. Like all the conversations like have a lot of personality behind them. One of the things I talked about on the Bombcast that really I enjoy every time they pull out this trick of you are having a conversation and the text bubbles are happening. And then in the background or off to the side, another conversation is happening, or someone you were just talking to, like they keep talking to you, even though they don't realize you're not listening anymore. And so they're just like blurting over and over and over again. And you could read that if you want. Just a really funny effect. It makes the world feel alive. I'm all about this game. And I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like fully grasping how to like power up my character, getting some equipment that makes me a little bit more powerful, but I'm recognizing that it's all about increasing your FP and your BP so you can have more stuff equipped, so you have more abilities, and then you have the FP, which is like your mana, to be able to pull off these attacks, so you're more willing to use them. And it's like, okay, that's like actually where the complexity of the combat comes in, and not necessarily in making your main attack more powerful, which could be, I guess, I think they did that 'cause it's like that can be kind of boring, where it's like you have all these abilities, you should be using those. And now I'm at the part of the game where it's like, oh, I should be using those. And I think that in every fight now. And that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat how, like, that's a bit of the challenge, right? Is that, like, every time you level up, like, oh, you could increase your health. But you kind of, like, realize, like, well, I usually am okay on health.
Exactly. I increased my health once so far, and that's it. Me too. Yeah.
So I've been, like, coasting on 15 health for a while. I'm like, no, because, like, increasing badge points, like, boy, does that matter.
Yes.
Same thing with FP, because using more of those abilities. So yeah,
I'm just kind of going back and forth between FP and BP, like
right,
every level.
You almost kind of feel like a little bit of a bad boy. It's like, I'm not upgrading my health.
Yeah,
still.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
like,
it's great.
You can't make me. And like, because like even most RPGs is like, well, we'll automatically upgrade everything a little bit. But
right,
then,
no.
like, no. your health just won't go up.
Right, but also like the attack power and the defense of the enemies aren't really going up that much either. Too much.
No.
It goes up slowly, but not that much.
Yeah, like there are some, like when you get a new weapon, that'll increase your attack. And
exactly.
There's a system for upgrading your allies.
Now, could you upgrade your allies more than once?
I don't know. I forget. I'm at the end of chapter 2, so I think you're further than me.
Yes, I just got to chapter 3 and spent a little time there. By the way, best chapter so far, and I really enjoyed everything up to this point. So I met a character named Grubb. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Is that the Yoshi chapter, or is that a different one?
This is the professional wrestling chapter. Yeah, the prize fighting chapter.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's a really good game. It is like making me want to be like, man, I should play Superstar Saga after this. Just just recently played Super Mario RPG. I love these games a ton.
They're great.
And it's like, I really never really played this one. So now here it is, and I'm fully getting through it, and it's a great way to play it. Like there's sure there are probably reasons to play the original if you want, but they have fully given you an experience where you can get everything out of this, and it is better in a lot of ways, including just visually stunning. It is really pretty to look at.
It looks good. And the 60 FPS 30 FPS thing, it's really not bothering me when I play it. I've seen like some videos like showing like the differences between this one and the old one, and this game like looks better every way, but like I do see the 60 FPS in those side by sides. I'm like, oh, that's nice, I wish I had this, but that's it.
Right.
You don't really think about it.
I don't think about it at all when I'm playing. I probably will check those videos because I'm curious, but that's probably the only way that I would ever notice, because when I'm playing I just don't see it.
I love playing this though, because it's like these things happen in the game, and I'm like, oh, I remember when this happened in GameCube 1 and how cool it was then, and it's still cool. Like just the trick it does with having so many enemies fill the screen. Sometimes there's like that part early on where there's a ton of them. Every time you hammer, they go flying.
Yep.
And it just looks really cool. That first big boss, the dragon, just kind of does some unexpected things. The game's always playing around with the whole fact that it is a stage show in really fun and interesting ways. It's just absolutely
there's a quiz,
delightful.
And I love any RPG with like a quiz about what's happened so far. One of my favorite tropes.
I was on the edge of my seat because I think I got like the first one right, then I missed like 4 in a row.
I know. I think it's almost the same exact thing here. I think
they did a lot of hard ones, so you would be really riding the edge.
And I was definitely like just barely skating by. It was great though.
Yeah. It's super fun. I'm having a great time with it, and whenever they make another Paper Mario again, I do hope that they're kind of like, yeah, maybe it should be more like this again.
I think this one feels more adventurous than a lot of the other ones, and like obviously the battle system is better. Like that, I think we all just across the board agree with that. But I think there's also some like key factors in how this world is presented. Coming to Rogueport, like discovering so much cool stuff in Rogueport, having like the train sitting there in the background, and be like, well, I can't wait till I get on that, and having the blimp up there and be like, am I going to ride on that blimp? That's awesome. I can't wait to see where that goes. That is like it just suggests this wide world. And there's something about that makes it feel like, well, I can't wait to go on this globe spanning adventure that I really appreciate. And I think they really nailed it with this game.
And I love just the idea of the Mario version of an like unsavory port town, right? Like it still has a gallows, but it's like, cute little rat people and stuff. And the partners are just great. Like even right away with Goombella and Koops, I love those two. They're just very distinct. They're very interesting. I love switching between them. I think like pretty much every chapter you get somebody new, at least for a while. Yep. So you're constantly in. They all have their ability that mess around the world. Oh, like I think the funniest thing in the game, at least so far, is the way you get those upgrades where it's presented as this curse.
Yes,
like they do that again. So that's like a problem with like the Mario Luigi games had eventually, where it's just nothing but boring tutorials. When they do the tutorials here, it's like funny.
Yep.
It's like, haha, I've been cursed. Now let me explain to you why.
Yeah.
And it's like the same formula as the tutorial. That's what it is. But he frames it as like, oh, don't you feel stupid?
Yeah. Now you could turn sideways and become a piece of paper. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, dang. You got me.
Thank you. There's like, do you fully understand?
Yeah.
Like,
it's very clever.
Some of those choices you get, right? Like there's the part where you like go up to somebody. It's like, oh, you're here to like help me or whatever. And it's like, yes, of course. The other one's like I forget. It's like take this, nerd, or something like that. Incredible.
Yep. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of like pick some of the more brazen dialogue options, just to see what's going to happen. The game has a lot of fun with its writing. They do a really good job with it. So this is like an easy recommend to just about anybody. I think even people who are like would be like, I don't like turn-based combat. I'm like, I think you're still going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this game.
Oh, sure. Yes, yeah. There's a lot that's going on with it, and it is always cool when specifically a game that was only ever on the GameCube before it comes to the Switch, because I'm just kind of like, this game's probably going to sell better here than it even did and originally back on the GameCube.
I hope it does awesome. And then they're like, well, now we got to make more of those.
Yeah. So that's great. All right, Jeff. Sometimes you simply know when you have just recorded the worst podcast in history. That is one of those times, absolutely. But we still had fun anyways. I'm not going to steal Jan's What We Learned section, even though I almost did that for some reason.
Yeah.
Blake Club tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on, buddy. We got this. We got it. Right. We're going to have fun. It's going to be great. We're going to make proggies.
What the fuck is this?
What's wrong?
I don't know. Look at the stream. Sometimes you simply know when you just recorded the worst podcast in history.
I like this. This is a good stinger.
Like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listen. I promise to make proggies.
We'll make proggies. We'll have fun. It'll be great. The Thursday
we won't have fun.
Well, I mean, not with that attitude. I mean, look, I'll have fun. Well, actually, I don't know. If you're miserable, sometimes Dan will have a good time.
Yeah, Dan will be fine.
Dan, I can't. Sometimes I feel bad for you. I don't think Dan has that problem.
No, not at all. Bye, everybody. Oh yeah, it's going off again. I smell it, Dan. Don't worry.
How do you feel?
Not great.
They had Cruise and Blast at the Dave & Buster's. That was a gimme, though.
Of course. Wait, did you hear the music? And you're like, podcast is starting.
I was like, oh no. Boom, 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 bum.
Yeah, I definitely beat it this time.
It took me 11 and a half hours to beat it. Oh, you beat it?
I beat it.